Hey, everybody, welcome back to the first podcast episode in 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a great one. Hope you stayed warm last night. If you are anywhere near the northern part of the United States or the world for that matter, it is absolutely freezing up here. So, hope everyone had a safe and happy New Year. This is the Motivation Monday podcast for January 1st, 2018. And what we're going to talk about today is something that we can start with a clean slate. So one of the things that I like to do is I keep a notebook. I keep one of those, 50-cent composition notebooks that you can get at any store. And I use it as my journal for everything related to music. So it's the thing that I keep track of all my practicing, my daily practice routine in. But another thing that I do with it is I will use it to jot down thoughts that I have. If I think of anything that I feel like I might want to remember, this is the place that I put it down in. So basically, at the end of the day, it's a one-stop shop for all of my thoughts and records about music in general. And I'll even jot down some other, personal stuff that I feel like might relate to music, but mostly it's just about music. So in my notebook that I have right now going currently, you'll find my week to week practice regimen where I keep track of, tempo markings and all kinds of stuff like that, what tunes I was working on, in what key. But then on certain pages, you'll also find different chord symbols that I'm working on and thoughts about them. Whatever I'm working on in my private lessons with my teacher, I will write down some thoughts that they have and kind of recap the lesson after it's over so that I can always go back and check those things out weeks later when I may have forgotten about it if I didn't actually write it down. Another thing that I'll also find is just general thoughts that I have about music. So, albums that I'm listening to, things I think about the albums that I'm listening to. You'll find personal reflection on what I'm feeling week to week about how I'm practicing, about how I can improve the way that I'm practicing, about what I think is going well with the way that I'm practicing. After a particularly great gig, I'll come home and write maybe a page about what made it such a great gig and how I can maybe carry over those things that made it such a great gig into future gigs. Just certain things like that. And on the same side of the coin, if I have a terrible gig, I'll come home and reflect on that. If I have a good day teaching, if I figured out something that I think would be of benefit to you guys or some of my other students, I'll write that down. And this is such a great thing because you don't know how many thoughts I've had that have been really worth something that I end up forgetting before I started keeping these journals. And the other really nice thing about it is, 10 years from now, I can actually go back into the journal from this year and check out what I was working on, check out what I was thinking about, check out what I was listening to, all kinds of stuff. It's basically just a catalog of my life as relates to music day by day. This has been a thing that you find in common with a lot of very, very successful people. Now, I'm not saying I'm successful, but what I'm trying to say is that I want to be successful. And a lot of the high performers in every field, they make a daily practice out of journaling, right? It's just a way to write down on paper some of the things that are floating around in your head. And I can't tell you how many times I've had very vague, foggy ideas in my head. And then as soon as I start to commit them to paper, they start to actually work themselves out in a way that I think would never happen if I wasn't journaling on a day to day basis. So I've been doing this for about 2 to 3 years now, and I've gone back to my journal from 3 years ago and pulled out some stuff that I just kind of lost track of, or stuff that I want to revisit that I somehow got sidetracked from in my practice routine. And it's actually kind of fun to go back and look at what you were doing a year ago. Find the date a year ago today and check out what you were working on. It's also a great motivational tool because through these journals, you'll realize that you really have made progress, which I think we lose sight of a lot because this is such a difficult thing that we're doing. Trying to be really good at jazz and music and being creative. It's something that we can really get caught up in and almost feel like we've taken a step back when in fact we're consistently taking steps forward through our hard work. So a motivational tool, a record-keeping tool, a way to work out ideas in your head on paper. There's so many benefits to this that if you're not doing it, I highly, highly suggest that you start. And what better day than the 1st of January 2018? Like we say, there's no better way to start with a clean slate than on the first of the year. And everybody makes such a big deal out of New Year's resolutions, and I have mixed opinions on them, but I do think that it mentally today would be a great day to start some of the things that you've been meaning to start because of that feeling of a fresh new year that we can do our best in every aspect of our life, including music. All right, so if you've been keeping some journals, let me know. Let me know what you do in your journals. How do you keep track of what is going on with your music and personal life? And if you have any suggestions, send them my way. Hope you all had a fantastic new year. Really, really looking forward to what's coming in the podcast this year. We're going to get really serious on some topics, really dive deep on some things, and I think it's just going to be a fantastic year for all of us out there. So, Happy New Year. We will talk to you on Friday with a regularly scheduled episode, and have a great and inspired first week of 2018. Talk to everybody soon. Bye.